I, the singer Erica, swear by the Almighty God that I will well and truly interpret and explain to the court and the witness all such matters and things as shall be required of me to the best of my skill and understanding. So help me God.
Now this is PWL and switch on. May I adjust it to your level like this. Your name and religion. My name is Jeffrey. My name is Jeffrey. I am I, Jeffrey.
Affirm before this honorable court
For this
that the evidence are going to give
evidence that we
touching the matter before court,
are taking
the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
for clarity, your name again.
My name is Jaffa Situ, Superintendent of Police.
Pakisito, your age.
I am 37 years old.
For the deputy head.
I am the deputy department
Of
CERN -A.
what is that in full?
So CERN EA, one of the 7 departments.
What is it
under the
in full?
Department of Forensic Sciences. Stands for chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and explosive.
Chemical,
Chemical, biological, radiological, yeah,
chemical, biological, Biological,
radiological, biological, radiological, R, CPR, R is radiological. Then the N is the nuclear. All E is explosive.
so what do you do apart from being a deputy head as an administrative role? Who are you in that department?
So in that department, I'm also a technical person, and I'm the lead examiner. I was the person who was responsible.
Find your speech. Writing.
What about that, my lord?
So can you repeat what you just said? You can first cover that. Be with me first. For the technical,
So in the technical aspect, I'm a lead examiner that the chemistry have. At the department of CPR.
what are your qualifications?
So I hold a PhD in natural sciences, Master of
Yes.
Science in Germany.
Doctor,
Sorry,
I request that I don't repeat.
very fair.
Just mind you are writing what you are saying. You are, and your evidence should be captured by the judge. So please,
Yes, my lord, I'll slow down. So I hold a PhD. University
of
Constance, KONS,
where is this found?
Germany.
Which year?
I hold,
Other than the PhD, do you have any other qualification?
I hold an Erasmus Mundus Master's,
What is that?
master's program. I hold an Erasmus Mundus Master's. Erasmus Mundus. Mundus is MUNDUS.
Masters in what?
In forensic science. That is from the universities of Lincoln, UK,
The universities on UK,
yes, University of Cordoba, Spain,
University of
Cordoba is CORDO, University of Cordoba, CORDO, EA.
where is this?
That is in Spain.
Yes.
Then at the higher institutes, sciences,
Just for clarity. How is it that your your masters, this one or three masters? Why is it from different universities?
yes, that is the uniqueness of Erasmus Mundus Master's. That's what Erasmus Mundus involves.
Any other qualification?
I also hold the Bachelor of Science. Subjects of biochemistry.
Which institution?
That is from Mahera University.
Which year?
2010.
Briefly on the masters, when did you acquire this masters?
So I acquired a master's in 2015.
Other than the bachelor's degree, any other qualification that you have?
So I also have other certificate.
Yes. What are these certificates that you have?
So the certificates I have which are relevant just I have certificate training in
LC,
LC dash
MS,
LC capital L capital C dash MS dash MS.
what does this stand for?
So that stands for
It,
photography. Photography CHRO. I also have a training.
what was the training body for this?
Training body was Estate, the company that supplies it's an acronym as well. Capital ES.
Which year?
2012, 2020. Part of 2021 and then 2022.
Next.
I also have training in
What is this training?
cinematography, but the
Is it a diploma, PhD, degree,
no, it's certificate training.
certificate training? In what?
GC
GC
M dash MS, just like the other one.
slash.
MS.
What does this stand
So
for?
that stands for, the other one was L, this one is G, so that's gas chromatography. And the rest is the same. Gas chromatography and then
Training in GC,
MS,
MS,
yes.
that's from
Gas chromatography.
that's
Chromatography. Mass spectrometry. NEEM. Mass RY.
Training body? M. Here?
Same year.
Same year you mean?
2021.
Any other?
No, I will leave it to that.
Yeah, that. So, for how long have you been a forensic chemist?
I have been there since 2012.
Let's deal with your roles, please, as a forensic. Your roles first as the head of your administrative role.
So my administrative roles supervise personnel under me. Then offer them guidance. By this, I am currently the head of the forensic.
About,
So, elaborate on that.
okay,
The forensic chemistry lab has three other labs in that is the toxicology lab, has also has a lab that deals with explosive residue analysis.
explosive,
Residue analysis. And it also has a lab that is the analysis of food, water, drugs,
drugs and environmental, environmental.
samples.
They've got your technical roles as a forensic chemist.
But the forensic chemist and develop methods to analysis. Develop methods for analysis.
What do you mean by this?
So before you're going to carry out an analysis, you're doing for the first time, just like during the section of our lab, I was supposed to oversee the development of all methods that are supposed to be used.
Develop methods, any other role? Technical role?
I am also an analyst and lead examiner.
By this, what do you do?
By this, I attend to test work requests. Give instructions how analysis should proceed. Oversee the analysis. Troubleshoot documentation. Oversee troubleshooting instrumentation.
What do you mean by this?
So in case people are running instrumentation, that's one before.
Yes.
And then I'm also for analysis reports.
Dr. Kisito, how do you come to do these examinations that you do as a, in your technical capacity?
How I come to do this examination, I respond to requests that are sent to our lab. I come
First, you went?
there are requests that come directly to our lab, that is the department. These requests come through the forensic gateway.
Already know what forensic gateway is. So those that come through forensic gateway,
So those which
how
come
do they
through
come?
forensic gateway come with the requests defined on TF7.
Yes.
That's an external request.
Done.
But also we offer a supporting role to other departments. They submit to us what we call internal requests.
How
So,
internal requests submitted?
so internal requests submitted by the requesting department. So we have an internal memo. Department. And this internal memo is accompanied by details.
Else?
The request performed. Acronyms for labels.
Agambire eibala niwe ejjava kisitu superintendent wa poliisi musiraamu aine emyaka 37 mu poliisi ati mu poliisi omwo ali ha kitebe kya deputy head niwe agarukira omuntu akwedinda ekitebe ekyo mu CBRNE agi explainingire nka chemical biological radiological nuclear explosives residue analysis. Atagambire nti ngu mu CBRNE niwe muntu akora mu niwe muntu arora ebintu niwe omuntu arora ebibalesere mu lab ege ya chemistry mu department egyo. Yagamba ebintu bindi ebyasomere PhD mu bya science kuruga mu University ya Constance eri mu Germany egi akagifuna mu 2022. Yagamba aina na masters oba ekigaruka hansi ya PhD mu Erasmus muntu masters mu forensic science kuruga mu University ya Lincoln University Kodva mu Spain ekyakagifuna mu 2015. Yagamba alina na degree ekulugamu erimu LCMS stroke MS liquid chromatography kuluga abamutrainingire ba step eyafunire mu 2021-2022. Yafuna na certificate training endi agyesere GMC stroke MS ebyo yo agambire nti ya gas chromatography training body ni gwa forensics kuluga omwaka gwa 2012. Ati bagenda bamukaguza ebyabaire nakola yagamba nti hati niwali haiguru ya department ene ya forensic chemistry lab bagenda bamukaguza ebintu ebyabaire nakola
How would you identify those internal requests that are submitted to your laboratory?
So I would identify by using a set of references, one of them being request number, higher number. That number from the relating laboratory. And the signature of the officer. Service.
What I pray for exhibit 32 and 33. Yeah, together with this. 31. I want you to look at the last two documents, exhibit 32 and 33. They'll quote if you recognize them.
You mean this PE 32?
Yes, 32 and then the next one. Do you recognize it? Got it together with 32.
Yes, I recognize PE 32.
What is it?
An internal memo.
Memo. Authored when?
Authored on the 10th of November 2023. And it is requesting addressed to the head CPERNPA. RN small e.
Yes.
And it's requesting for gunshot risk analysis by Gerald Sierra Beaton.
Who does it indicate who was making the request?
Yes, so that for the head ballistics and humans by Sweden and Hearing.
Does it have the reference IR number?
Yes, has an IR number on the top hand, top right hand.
What is it?
IR 001.
May you read it
So it is
in full?
EFS dash EA dash IM dash IR dash 001.
How about the next document?
So the next document,
3A33.
so this one is not labeled, but I assume you are referring to this one.
Somewhere up there. Yes, that one.
So if it's this one, it's labeled internal request form.
Yes.
It's a document control here. This is quality information. So it has three sections.
Okay, how do you recognize it?
So I recognize it by the signature of one of my personnel. That is Isola Franco. As the
Does it
officer.
have any connection with the first document?
Yes, it has a connection because the first document has a lab number which is EFSPA 407.
So what is it? Internal memo.
And details, the internal memo requests for gunshot residue analysis. And what I just read to quote is the lab reference number. That is DFS/EA and then 404/2023. And then this one, the required analysis in this one you call PE33. It has a request for analysis. It also has gunshot residue or DSR.
So let's go back to the first document, Doctor. 32. Say 32 was requesting for gunshot residue analysis. Did provide any additional particulars beyond that?
So this document specifies the kind of exhibits or the exhibits that have been forwarded along with your internal memo. And it goes out to list.
So what exhibits are these?
So they are prepared samples of exhibit that is D-3, D-4, D-5, M1, M2, M3, 10-1, FD, OC-1, OC-2, CS1, and CS2.
What was the request?
The request was to carry out gunshot residue analysis on those samples listed above and furnish a report of the results.
omuntu ali muto rundi ayimeriire akusobola ekooti bamusabire ayetegereze ebihandiiko bibiri ebyasindikirwe mu laabu. Nawe yagamba ngu ego akulyetegereza, bamukaguza akulyetegereza ata, yagamba IR namba n'agimanya, ekisiika ky'emibazi rundi mu Rujungula namba nakyo nakyetegereza, yagaruka yagamba ngu na signature y'ofiisa ayahandiikire nayo nagyetegereza arupapura rundi akihandiike ky'okubanza. Bagaruka bamukaguza akihandiike kyakabiri, yagamba ngu abandize yasaba akaira kataito muno ayetegereze ekihandiiko eki. Yagamba ngu ego ekihandiiko nakyetegereza, yagamba nikyo ekihandiiko ekibakozesa mu ofiisi rundi mu Rujungu twakwesere ntano memo. Yagamba ngu kihandiikwa ebiro 10 y'okwezi kwa 11 omwaka wa 2007. Yagamba kaba kihandikirwe nikigenda nikisaba kwetegereza obusagwa bw'emundu. Yagaruka yagamba ngu ayakihandikire akaba Superintendent wa polisi Asaheli Daudi na Sawali Daudi Derek ebale muno. Yagaruka yagamba kaba n'enamba eno eri IR noti emu. Yagaruka yagamba bamugamba agisome mu bwijwire. Yagisoma yagamba niyo ba na fa na sa akasiitale, ba na a akasiitale, I na ma akasiitale, I na ra. Yateekaho na dash 0 emu rundi noti emu. Leader amukagwize amugambire bagende ekihandiiko ekyakabiri rundi enamba pa na i 33. Abanze yagamba ngu tikigusaho omutwe, baitu bamugamba ngu omutwe guroho, kandi bwayongere kukyekebeija yagurora. Nabo yagaruka yagamba kihandiiko ky'omu ofiisi rundi mu Rujungu twakwesere ntano memo. Yagamba ngu bamukaguza akyetegererize naki. Yagamba ngu akyetegererize kurungi muno kurugiira ha signature eya amabara gani katalibaniza Isabo Franco no yasayiningire ekihandiiko. Kandi yagaruka yagamba ngu ekihandiiko ekyokubanza kino kwataine n'ekihandiiko ekyakabiri, kandi nakyo nikisaba kwekebeija. Leader yagaruka yamugamba ngu bagaruke ha kihandiiko ekyokubanza rundi ekya 32. Amukagwize ha bintu ebiba hayiro mu kooti rundi twakwesere mu Rujungu exhibits. Yagamba ego bamugamba akisoborre, yabisobora nk'oku byahayirwe. Yagamba da 3, da 4, da 5, ma emu, ma 2 ma 3 10 dash M K na P O na C M O na C 2 C na S M na C na S 2 yagamba bino byona ebibasabire abikole okuseera obusegwa obw'emundu akabikora okuba abimusabire.
Our colleagues are suggesting and they also you only provide the answers and not the questions that we cut down on the time. Dr. Situ, let's go to the last document, that one. We applied. Next we started with. Yes, that one. So what were these samples that were forwarded for examination?
So these samples were D3, D-3, D-4, D-5, M1, M2, and M3 were cotton swabs.
First, but we are following you. M3 were what?
They are cotton swabs.
Is it better? Like when I pause, then you interpret and we go compare. Now
Bamukagwize ngu biki ebyo bamusabire.
you have now asked the question. Just answer. Just provide the answer.
Ebyo bamusabire biri da 3 da 4 da 6 ma 2 na ma 3 byateekwa kapamba.
What else?
And then test items labeled 10-1, KT, OC-1, and OC-2. These were sampled fabric pieces.
Agambire ngu ebindi bikaba 10 dash M kana P ona cha M na ona cha 2.
What else?
So there were test items labeled CS1 and CS2. These were also swabs.
Kandi pamba ekaba cha na sa M cha na sa 2.
Did you carry out the analysis that was required?
Yes, I did carry out analysis as required and furnish a report.
Agambire ngu bamugambire kukora akabikora kandi yahandika ekihandiiko bwe bamusabire abikole rundi report.
How did you identify the report that you authored after the analysis?
So the report that I authored after the analysis has the case information that includes the IR number and the reference number of the originating lab. And also it has my signature and the signature of my junior who worked at the analysis.
Report yahandikire eina IR number aina ne namba eyarugire yamusabirwe yahandikira atandika ekyo na signature ye n'ey'omutowe runda ku mugwera.
That band of documents, go to that document labeled PID 36 and tell court if you recognize it.
So
You recognize
this one
that.
is not labeled. I don't know which year you're talking about.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it first. Okay. It was not labeled, but it is the document I'm referring to. Do you recognize the document?
Yes, my lord, I recognize the document.
What is it?
It is a report from country risk analysis.
Ripooti n'agyetegereza kandi agambire eri ekihandiiko ekyatungirwe bamazire kukora analysis ubundi kwekebeija.
Is that the report that you authored?
Yes, my lord, this is the report that I authored.
Niyo ripooti eyahandiikire.
Before I come to the details of the report, there is another document like this. It should be labeled Prosecution Exhibit 34.
This one is labeled.
I could look at it first.
This one is labeled 33. I don't know whether it is.
Just confirm. Because I think there was a mistake here. Chapter 3 was this. From chapter 3 also. The report is PID 36. Then this one. Okay. That should be. Dr. Karungi, Dr. But yes, that is the document. It's now labeled 34.
I have the document.
How do you recognize it?
Yes, I recognize the document. It was signed by our head of department, that is Senior Superintendent of Police, having the Frederick Jonathan.
Ripooti n'agyetegereza kandi ekateekwaho omukono Senior Superintendent of Police Kalungi.
What is it?
So this is a reply to the request that was forwarded to our department to perform the country risk analysis and furnish a report. So this document is the forwarding internal memo for the report back to the requesting department.
Agambire niki ekihandiiko bahandiikire nikitwalwa abyazoirwe abo babasabire bakole okwetegereza obuseka bwa buli muntu.
So let's go back to the report. ID 36. You told court that you can recognize the report you authored by your signature and the references.
Yes, my lord.
Does your report bear those items?
Yes, the report and paragraph 1 is case information. There's the references, that is the DFS PAIMR 001, and also the
Yes. What else?
and
Does it
also
have your signature?
it has my signature at the bottom right hand. It is signed on both pages, page 1 and page 2.
agambire n'abyetegereza ekyandiko n'akyetegereza kurungi habwa enamba eziriho na signatures.
How did you sign the report?
So I signed the report as a reviewer the 13th of November 2023.
agambire ngu ekyandiko ekyo akakiteekaho omukono ebiro 13 okwezi kwa 11 omwaka gwa 2023.
And by reviewer in your terms, what does that reflect?
So as a reviewer, I'm the lead examiner.
agambire niwe omukugu amusango niwe omukugu omukulu akihandiika ekyo.
My Lord, I first want to pray that we formally have the reports admitted as an exhibit. That TID 36 be formally admitted as an exhibit. Forty-five. So, Mr. Kisitu, you received the exhibits, the request clear. Upon receipt of exhibits, what did you do? Or authored the report?
So before I authored the report, I consulted a team, which we can call the technical team, to handle this case. This team consists of an analyst,
Who was the analyst?
that was Soba Franco, and the technician.
So you said the team had Soba, the
And I
technician,
myself as the lead examiner, and then it's over from 4 as the analyst and the technician.
yes, after constituting the team,
So after constituting the team, we document the case, and by this,
you document the case.
document, we make an entry for the case in the relevant registers.
What do you mean by this?
So by this, we make an entry in the register, but also we document, it is just a description of the exhibits received in the lab.
Daktari agambire ngu yatungire ekihandiiko yakola ttiimu gundi akatebe kabantu basatu wenko mukulu wako nabakugu abandi babiri nibwo yagaruka ekyakabiri yakinguraho ekitabo ali yahandiikire n'akazi.
Yes, what else?
And so that documentation also includes the case notes. And after that,
What do you mean by case notes?
the case notes is basically how the test items are going to be processed.
Ekindi ekyakasatu akateekaho ekitabo n'ahandiikamu ebihandiiko eby'omusango.
Yes.
After that, we do what we call sample preparation.
Nibwo yakora ekibeeta kuteekateekaniza ebintu ebibala akebera.
What does this entail?
So, what sample preparation means that you are provided with items, then you're supposed to test them in a machine. So we do not put items into a machine. We prepare them into a form that is compatible with our machine. That's what we do in sample.
Agambire abo bamuhaire ebintu bino bateekaniza tandika kubikebera.
Talk about the machine. Please explain what you mean by the machine.
So we have the machine that we use for this analysis. If you go to the report, it's under paragraph 2, that's methodology, listed in there as liquid chromatography and then mass spectrometry analysis.
Agambire ngu ekyoma kino kikalimagezi bakiyine kandi ngu kahandiikwa n'omu bihandiiko kiro.
Fine, we shall come to that. Then after that, what follows?
So after doing sample prep, then analyzing the samples of the machine that I just told you about.
Ati batandika kwekebejja nibenda kutunga obunanu bw'ebintu ebyabahaire kebera.
Then after analysis of the data, the data reports.
Ate oba atungire bakani benda batandika rundi bahandiika report.
Coming to your report again, is authorized Constitution Exhibit 45. What did you include in the first paragraph?
So in the first paragraph, the report is addressed to the head ballistics and room marks, which is the relating department. And in paragraph 1, which is the case information, therein we have a table that has the requesting department. Yes.
So what does it contain in paragraph 1?
So paragraph 1 is the case information. And this case information includes the requesting department, the section in our lab that offers the service,
Includes
the requesting department, the section in our lab that offers the service that is explosives and residue analysis section.
gambira eripoota yahandiikire okukaara obwokubanza akabamu enkaara zikwawukana okurooraho ekitongole ekyakebiire obusagwa buno abamu na omusango abamu na akatweka ka laabu runda ibara lya laabu ali bakolire ebintu bino.
Anything else?
Yes, it bears the required analysis, which is the gunshot residue analysis.
Before that, in paragraph 2.
That's paragraph 1 is information.
Oh. Can you repeat that again?
So it there besides the requested department and the section of the lab that offers the service requested for, bears also the required analysis, which in this case is gunshot residue analysis.
Agambira okukaara bwahondiireho akabamu okusabwa kwatungirwe akuseerwa obusegwa bw'emundu.
Also bears the request date.
Akabamu n'ebiro by'okwezi.
And the references which can be used to identify this document.
Abamu n'obuhandiiko okusobola kwetegereza kino ekihandiiko ekibakubaza.
Now, first, going back to your request form, Constitution Exhibit 32.
It's the one signed by Derek.
Yes, the one signed by Derek. When did Derek make the request to your lab?
So the request was made on the 10th of November, 2023.
Bakabasaba kukebera ebiro by'okwezi 10 omwezi we-11 mwaka wa 2003.
About the accompanying form, which is Constitution Exhibit 33.
So the accompanying form was also...
When was it authored?
The accompanying form was also authored on the 10th of November, 2023.
Na fomu endi eya 33 naye ekahandiikwa ebiro 10 kwezi kwa 11 omwaka gwa 2003.
And on second paragraph, the end of your report, when did you author the report?
Yes, when you mean the page 2?
Page 2, yes.
So page 2 where there is a declaration, the report was authored on the 13th of November, 2023.
Agambirewo eripoota eye ekahandiikwa ebiro 13 mwezi gwa Novemba ebiro 23. Sorry, omwaka gwa 2003.
And on your first page, did you capture the request date? And what does the report reflect?
So in my notes, there was a typo in the request date included in our report. Reflected here is 10th of October, 2023, which I request.
There was a typo
So
on your report.
there was a typo about the request date. So it is indicated here as 10th of October, 2023.
Akabamu okusobya omu biro eby'okwezi bakahandiika ebiro 10
Why do you say it's a typo?
kwezi kwa 10 mwaka gwa 2003.
So our report template has an autofill. So you just that type again, it just has an autofill. So by mistake we are not cognizant of the date we're supposed to do.
agambira mu byuma byabwe bikalimagezi hakabamu ensobi kandi batagirole.
What was it supposed
So
to
it was
be?
supposed to be the 10th of November.
Supposed kuba lundi ekyandiko kyakusomere ebiro 10 okwezi kwa Novemba.
Okay. So other than paragraph 1,
So other than paragraph 1, my report has 5 other sections. On the first page has the second paragraph.
Agambira epoota ye erina n'ebihandiiko ebindi agenzire hakwara.
what is included in the second paragraph?
So in the second paragraph, it talks about
In the nature of the report, that the court stands and follows so that the court can follow. We need the other annexures which are so go to we're on the first page, second paragraph. Say what does that you say the second paragraph has the methodology used.
yes.
What methodology did you use in your examination?
So for we use the instrumentation, that is liquid chromatography, and the mass spectrometry.
Akakozesa ekyoma kikalimagezi.
And we followed
Yes.
and we followed the work instructions.
Yakozesa
So we followed 2 work instructions that's specified here.
yakozesa n'ebiragiro ebibakozesa.
What were the 2 work instructions that you followed?
So there is the DFS, EFS, CAPS, and you can find it there.
Provide the mass spectrometry.
I don't even if they Googled the work instructions. This is public knowledge.
So the work instructions are steps, procedural steps. Are they documented anywhere, or you create them according to some?
So they are picked from peer-reviewed scientific literature and then verified and validated in the lab. And that methodology was published in peer-reviewed scientific literature. Anyone is public document in the peer-reviewed scientific literature. So I can give you,
You can provide them.
Work instructions are gazetted in the manual so that the manual.
That's why I asked that. Are these work instructions, were they specific to this particular sample, this analysis?
So these work instructions that we use are used for explosive residue analysis. That's why in my report here, when it comes to service provider, I give you the section that is this one. So this is the lab within our lab. Explosive residue analysis section.
I think the question is, does he have written work instructions?
Yes, we have.
Is there any difficulty in providing because
I know those are internal documents.
I don't think we agree that yeah, because
let's do this from words like IP and
So my lord, maybe I can.
I don't think it's internal what we could.
No, we have internal work instructions because the methods we use have to be peer reviewed. They have to be published. So we have a publication that entails work instructions we use in the lab. That's an external document you can access. It's not different from how we do it in the lab, unless you want different papers.
But in respect of this particular
Gunshot residue analysis.
yes, this
That
one
public
for this case. Do you So they have general
No, my lord, yes,
steps.
my lord, yes, yes, the specific
I
one
mean,
was not taken.
general,
The easiest.
general work instructions for gun shot residue analysis. You have those ones. From the peer review document. That's what you have.
That's my lord.
So as you're doing your work, do you pick from different sources or you use it into some sort of guide
We have reduced it in some sort of guide.
that you use and you follow that? You follow that? You know, what is that?
My lord, if this witness had been left, now let me allow Mr. Kaweda address court on what I am about to say. Because before I say it, he rudely interrupts. And my lord, that is not that. My lord, if we had been left to read this witness all through, then it would have been more clear. I have a feeling, my lord, that we appropriately misunderstanding what is scientific procedure. And now we are demanding for something that is not clear. No? I don't know, because
These work instructions, did you say that you have reduced them into a guide in your lab? For instance, for gun shot residue analysis, you have procedural steps that you take, and they are written some. And that's what you follow in this work.
are they available for
Those, according to me, my level, I may not be able to say whether they're available because I know they're cannot. But that one you can ask our quality department to see if they're available externally. The reason why we work on these procedures and then publish them after is for people to access the published information externally.
are they disclosable? Because my lord, we went through all of this, and I will be volunteering the answers, but I don't want to do that. We are dealing with a scientific laboratory, and you're demanding that the methodology and the scientific content of that lab should be disclosed to the world.
They're asking for the steps. They're asking for the steps.
My lord,
He said that he got that information from peer-reviewed information, is it?
now that is a big sense.
Then that's where I got it. And then you made a guide for the lab.
So it
From
is
the peer-reviewed information
So-
that is widely available.
When we pick this information, we verify it, then validate it to suit our lab. After we validate that it suits our lab, we write a scientific paper that is available externally for people to see.
So is that scientific paper? What is it available?
Publicly available.
now you see that.
My lord is not necessarily splitting it there, but my lord, the record will reflect that your learned brother, Mr. Justice Moore, gave a decision that the details of all scientific experiments be disclosed. That's already an order on this court. In fact, with a deadline, I think that pretty much I know you can simply check the record. But more importantly, my lord, it is really against the right to a fair hearing for someone to come here and tell us that here's a work instruction that he relied on to reach a conclusion, but it's private.
And you need to cross-examine.
We don't mind if they give it us today after finishes whatever they're doing. If it's just today, we spend the night reading it. We don't mind. Here tomorrow, but for it, we need it.
Is there any problem with you not closing it? If I may.
I want us to be Mr. Katanga. I want you to know that you're not the
only one person, not for the other partner. Let's do this.
That is true, my lord.
That is true, my lord. I have been quiet while you were shouting. So give me trouble. My lord, we need to be very clear and sensitive in the way government handles information, especially when it relates to also security issues. When we were requested to disclose, we are disclosing information that is forming part of evidence. He has already mentioned the work instruction in his report. He has already told them that there are also other publications. If they wish, they can go and do the research. And I don't think we are under an obligation to do the research on their behalf and provide this information for them. My Lord, this is not the only case that the lab is handling. We have cases of terrorism. We have cases that will put the entire country of security at risk. So it is not viable that you can demand for disclosure of the entire machine to the courtroom as though it is part of the evidence. It is my request that the witness is given an opportunity, because in the work instructions are basically simple steps that everyone undertakes. And I say, allow me. And my Lord, such documents cannot be what I require to prove this case. I require a report. And it is fair that the witness is allowed to explain as to how he came to these findings. This constant demand of information is what we find very disturbing, to the extent that now I think they want to go and be part of the lab. But some of the processes that are scientific, my Lord, you can't transfer them to a courtroom, or you think that they will just go as disclosures. It would be stretching it too far, the law relating to disclosure, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm supposed to disclose materials that are forming part of, and we have disclosed this report to them long time ago. And we believe that with this report they have sufficient information to cross-examine the witness and also defend their client. Because what we have is a report, and what we are relying on is the report. But we cannot exclude a witness to talk about the procedures and the processes they went through. You cannot exclude that information about the procedures and processes. But how about cross-examination? How will they cross-examine? Is it going to disclose the procedures and the steps you followed out? You followed in carrying out this analysis that formed the basis of this.
I am also glad, my Lord, and that is what he has said. He has provided the public information that is common to everybody, that they can access and read and prepare for them. The challenge we have been having, my Lord, from the beginning of this trial is the defense team thinking that we should also do the research for and on their behalf, and then we give them the information.
So when you talk about the steps, the procedural steps you took to do that work, that is that. Are there steps that are detailed that they don't need? work instruction like this and this and I write this conclusion. All that is also. Are you going to detail those steps?
I know it. If anyone asks, I could know the limits where I can go. If you ask me how I did it, I can explain to you how I did it.
So you're going to detail the steps.
So, maybe the word detail could be that you mean that I give you the volumes and everything. That's the detail you're talking about. Because there is detailed information which shows that I drove one area. But how I go, how I drive, which I was driving, that's the detail.
And I'm referring to this step A. I looked at this one.
That one I can give my
separated it. I put it in here. Reactant, and this is the reaction.
that one I can give my knowledge.
That is all. Let him take us through the steps. Let him take us through the steps of how we arrived at that information, and then you will cross-examine.
My Lord, the challenge we are happy. My Lord, the challenge we are happy. My Lord, the challenge we are happy is that this witness has said he used two specific work instructions that have reference numbers. My Lord, one of them is reference number DFS, which is Directorate of Forensic Sciences, stroke CBRNE/A, which is his department, stroke chemistry, CHM, stroke WI, which I take it to be work instructions, stroke SP001. Another one is all the same except the last one, stroke INST, stroke 013 work instructions. My Lord, for him to stand here and tell us at his own discretion what is and is not in them, we must be able to have these work instructions to look at them. My Lord, it does not, we don't run a lab. It does not give a fair trial to our clients. If someone is saying, this is the result based off of a test that I've done off of this work instruction, and then he's telling you, you go and Google how labs work. Or there's some peer review, first of all, peer reviewed journals are between them as peers. We don't subscribe to them. My Lord, it is a simple question of the fairness of the trial. My Lord, the issue of pre-trial disclosure, the prosecution treats it as an inconvenience, as a disturbance. But my Lord, it is a constitutional right, a guaranteed constitutional right, a right enshrined in our constitution, a right determined by the superior courts of this country. It is not a question of saying that it's national security. If it were a national security matter, he should not have put it here. The day he put a work instruction, am I not surely a work instruction? And then the argument of security is beyond ludicrous. My Lord, a scientific process must be able to be repeated by a third party to be verifiable. He must be able to give me his work instruction. I go to the journal that he's talking about and I tell him, your work instruction contradicts the journal. At the moment, how do I do that? How then can I defend my client of the most egregious charge based on evidence that is hidden from her and that is referred to by him? Either we have a fair trial or we do not. And let us understand, my Lord, the prosecution cannot behave as though disclosure and fairness are an inconvenience. They are a right, and they must comply with it. And it's about fairness. This gentleman cannot come here and tell us that I did it under this, and then say, that is internal to me. If it's internal to you, why have you put it here?
My Lord, I can provide a free publication if you cannot access it. That publication was authored by myself, not authored by anyone out there, it was authored by myself. Yes, peer reviewed by fellow scientists, reproducible, and proved to be worth publishing. I can give you a copy. I can give you a copy. That is an external document you can access.
I get also
The witness, does that copy have? But the work instruction is this one. Isn't it? Is the instruction you received and the steps he's taking to do the analysis.
When we are publishing this publication externally, it contains how we do it. Otherwise, it cannot be accepted if they do not understand how we do it.
So your publication will answer his question.
It should be able to answer his question.
My Lord, will it contain these two work instructions?
It covers sample preparation, it covers instrumentation. All of them covered in
Yes,
that
and we're
application.
talking about sample preparation. This first one ending 001 is sample preparation. The one ending 01
Is the instrumentation.
Yes, it's instrumentation. I don't think that's
Yes, my lord.
Let us proceed. Let us proceed. You can
My
share.
lord, I can share with him a soft copy in real time right now.
Yes,
Wow.
share with him a soft copy. Because 001 is the sample preparation.
I only need his WhatsApp number.
001 is sample preparation. He's sharing with you that document that talks about the steps to prepare, the work instruction.
My lord, I'm sharing with him a scientific publication that has been peer reviewed by other scientists and published. It bears how samples are prepared,
Yes,
and the parameters for the instrumentation.
You're sharing an academic writing.
By me?
Academic writing.
Yes.
My lord, I'm not asking him for an academic writing.
No, but
He's sharing with me a dissertation.
no, also,
It's not a dissertation, you have not even seen it, my
we are
lord.
talking about sample preparation, and whatever he's talking about sample preparation must be in his paper. And then we're talking about the machine instrumentation. It is also there in his paper. So you will follow up those steps that he's telling us now, if they are in that application. Let him proceed.
Much obliged.
You're going to share.
I can share it right now, my lord. I only need his WhatsApp number.
You share on mine on summary.
But it's supposed to.
That's okay. That's okay.
You have many work? But we are here in court. He's going to say.
I sent it to It's still loading.
Work instruction for sample preparation.
It's still loading.
So, yes, instruction. Yes.
That once the certificates together with it.
Oh, yeah. so Doctor, let's proceed. We ended at the point where you had said a certain worker instruction was this, and it deals with worker instructions for
Instance for instrumentation.
communication. And you were going on record to explain what you mean by work instructions.
Yes. So work instructions, I customize way of how we customize way of how we execute our roles for our analysis.
ebiragiro bino bimanyisa omulingo omulimu gwakolwamu kwekibejja ebintu.
And coming up with a work instruction involves spending resources because you have to do the verification and validation.
Ebiragiro bino bimanyisa ngu bajja kuteekamu amaanyi maingi nka ssente ka amagezi kutunga ekibakwenda.
It's the reason why these documents are considered confidential. We don't want any lazy people somewhere just picking our documents, which we have invested heavily, just to pick and start using.
Niki ekyo ekibatwalira ebiwandiiko bino kuba by'amaanyi muno kandi bitali bya bumuntu kulora.
But nonetheless, we are cognizant of the global acceptance of science. That's why we publish these methods out to the world to see.
Kyonka nibakimanya ngu emihanda eno y'amaanyi muno kandi nibahandiika nibabiteeka mu bihandiiko nukwo abantu bangi babisome babitegeereze.
Publish? Where do you publish them?
So we publish them in scientific journals.
Babiteeka mu bitabo ebya saayansi.
And the publication process is a rigorous process whereby they are scrutinized by experts.
Kandi n'okuhandiika batakabitiira heero batakabiikiriza mu bitabo abakugu babanza kubirabamu.
So they are scrutinized by experts in the same field.
Nabo bakugu mu mulingo nkabo nk'okubali.
And by the time they are published, that means they are fit for use and fit for purpose.
Obubiikirizibwa kuteeka mu bitabo ne kiba kimanyisa ngu babyetegereze babisomere babyekebejjere kandi biki ekyo ekibakwenda.
Yes. So you say you, among others, you have paragraph 2, other than paragraph 2.
So for after paragraph 2, we go to paragraph 3.
What does it entail?
So it details the test items and the findings thereabout.
Enkiga ya kasatu alimu ebintu ebibagenda kukebera.
Let's go through. The findings.
So I'll go through paragraph 3. So paragraph 3 is a table. It has 4 columns. The first column is a column for serial numbers that gives a numbering chronologically. Then the second column is a column for test item level. And in this column, that's why you have the exhibits that were submitted to us. In the third column, you have a space.
I deliberately let you speak a briefing, slow it down. So you speak in the
Mu nkiga ya kasatu akikyuyekyuyiremu yatunga mu koloma emu ayina ebyakiyiremu na koloma eyakabiri ate abaye nagenda yakasatu.
So the third column includes what we call the specimen number. So we report results on a specimen. We receive these items, but report results on a specimen. That's why we have the column for specimen.
Agambire ngu babantu bamaze kola emirimu gyabwe egyo booleka ekibatungire mu buli kintu kyona ekibakebiire.
So we have, first column has 12 serial numbers from 1 to 12. The specimen number also has 12 specimen numbers labeled as BA, that's ballistics, 407, that is the lab ID, and then the year 2023, and then the specimen S001 down up until S012, that's the 12 test item.
Omukugu akisembekere kurungi muno yatandikira ekyokubanza ekisembereyo kandi nagenda kwoleka ebibatungiremu.
So we report the results here, the test item label in column 2. For example, like D3 is reported corresponding to specimen S01.
Asoboloire kurungi yagamba ngu ebibayihiremu nibabiteeka ndirundi nibabiikiraniza na ekibakebiire nukwo ebibatungiremu bibe nibisobola kusomwa kurungi.
So in this, and the last column, that's the fourth column, is where we have substances that were detected in the individual specimen that corresponds to the test item.
Omukolomu yakana niho batungire rundi results rundi ebibatungire mukukebera buli akantu akabakebiire.
Okay, so let's go specimen by specimen. Let's go by the first specimen. What is the first specimen?
So specimen, that is the serial number 1, test item label D-3, specimen number BA 407, specimen number BA
D3.
That is this item D3, D-3.
Yes.
And then that specimen number is BA, the same row. That is BA dash, comma, opposite 407, Y23, S001. And so the detected substance in this specimen, it corresponds to this item where 2 derivatives of diphenylamine indicated here as
agambire ngu obubakebiire balina ebibatungire.
There are 2 derivatives of
diphenylamine, which is indicated here as DPA. The derivatives of diphenylamine are 4-nitrodiphenylamine, which is abbreviated as 4N-DPA. And the second one is 4-nitrosol diphenylamine, which is abbreviated as 4-nitrosol DPA.
Agambire bakasangamu ebintu bya sayansa bibiri kandi yabisobola ekyokubanza n'ekyakabiri byona abisoboloire kandi abakugira bakkiriza.
yes.
And then that is serial number 2 corresponds to this item D-4. That is specimen BA 407 Y23S002. For that, we found a derivative of EPA, which is 4-nitrodiphenylamine abbreviated as 4N-EPA.
Agambira akantu akakabiri akabakebiire balina naye bibasangiremu kandi yabihandiika. Kano agambire kakutandika na B na A bo n'enamba zikukonderaho alina na obusegwa bwa sayansi okuyazoire.
The next exhibit.
So serial number 3, that is this item B-5, specimen number BA407, Y23, S003. For that, we found 3 derivatives. We found nitrophenylamine, which is a breakdown product of the energy carrier in gunpowder, which is nitrocellulose. That is the 4-nitrophenylamine, a breakdown product from nitrocellulose.
No, you are going to go back. You're going to go back. You said you found 3
We found 3 derivatives.
Yes.
The first derivative, that is nitrophenylamine, it's a breakdown product.
Which is it abbreviated as well?
That is abbreviated as NPA.
And what is this?
This is a breakdown product of nitrocellulose.
And what is that?
So nitrocellulose is an energy carrier in smokeless gunpowder. So you have
Energy?
it's an energy carrier. And that is that you have in smokeless gunpowder.
Yes.
So there are normally 2 energy carriers, that is the nitrocellulose and the nitroglycerin. So this product here, NPA, is a breakdown product of nitrocellulose.
Okay. What was the second derivative?
The second derivative is the 4-nitrosodiphenyl, is the N-nitrosodiphenylamine, which is abbreviated as capital N-NEPA.
The third one?
The third derivative, the third is 4-nitrosodiphenylamine, which is abbreviated as 4-nitrosodPA. And so the second and
agambire ngu akanamba kakasatu akayakebiire akasangamu obuseekwa bw'emirundi 3. Enamba yago agibalize baitu ebigambo bino tibiri mu lulimi olutoro.
Yes. That is, we will define. Item number 3. So you were explaining what?
so I said the first one, the NPA, was a breakdown product of nitrocellulose.
Yes.
And then the second one and third one are derivatives of diphenylamine, indicated here as DPA.
Derivatives of?
Diphenylamine or DPA, indicated here as DPA.
The next item?
So the next item is serial number 4. This item labeled OC-1. Specimen number
OC-1. OC1.
And that is specimen number BA407, Y23, S004.
You detect
And for
the
this-
substances.
For this specimen, target substances were not detected.
Yagambira kakebera kakana onacha emu nenamba ezindi ezikukonderawo kayineti yasangirewo.
Next.
That is serial number 5. This item labels OC-2, specimen number BA407, Y23, S005. Equally in this one, no target substances were detected.
Akakataano akayakebire nako taine kiyasangire mu kyamagezi.
What was the next item?
The next item is serial number 6. That is this item labeled KP, specimen number BA407, Y23, S006. In this test item, we identified one product which is a derivative of diphenylamine, and that is the N-nitrosodiphenylamine. That is the NDPA.
Akumukaaga nakakakebera bulungi alina omusego abasayansi yatumukiremu.
What was the next item?
The next item, that is serial number 7. That is this item labeled M1, M1, and the specimen number BA407Y23 S007. And in this test item, we found the same substance as in serial number, specimen number 6, that is N-nitrosodiphenylamine, which is abbreviated as N-NDPA.
Akomusanju akayakebire nawe nakiyasangiremu akasayansi nikasana akayasangire mu item gundi akanamba 6 akasomire koti.
Next.
So the next this item, that is serial number 8. That is this item labeled M2. That is specimen number BA407 Y23 S008. That is specimen number BA407 Y23 S008. And in this test specimen, we did not detect target substances.
Akanamba 8 kandi ko talina ekyamaanyi ekiyasangiremu.
Next.
That is serial number 9. That is item labeled M3. Specimen number BA407 Y23 S009. And we detected nitroglycerin, identified here as Mg, which is an energy carrier in smokeless gunpowder.
You identified NK,
That's nitroglycerin,
which is
an energy carrier like nitrocellulose I talked about before.
Akanamba 8 nakaka kakebera alina ekiyasangiremu ekyasayansi.
energy carrier in what?
In smokeless gunpowder. In the same specimen, we are able to find a parent compound for the other derivatives above, that is diphenylamine, abbreviated here as EPA.
Next.
Next is serial number 10. This item labeled 10-1. Specimen number BA407 Y23 S010. In this specimen, we identified a derivative of DPA, and this is N-nitrosamine, which is abbreviated as N-NDPA.
Akanamba 10 nakakakakebera kandi yasangamu sekwa wa sayansi. Namba yaho ataripoti.
Next.
That is serial number 11, test item labeled CS1, specimen number EA 407 523 S011. In this specimen, target substances were not detected.
Namba 11 cha na sa emu akakakebera bayitutaine kiyasangiro kyo.
In your report, you keep referring to target substances. What were the target substances that you were?
Maybe I missed number 12, which is also turns out the target substance is not detected. I stopped on 11.
Okay, first finish.
Number 12, that is CS2, that is EA 407Y23 S012, and also in these target substances are not detected.
Akanamba 12 naho taine kiyasangiro.
Now back to the question. When you keep referring to target substances,
So target substances, when we do mass spectrometry,
well, it would be very slow because you are dealing with scientific terms. So, this, if you are too slow, we shall tell you to speak. Yes, please. Go ahead.
so when it comes to mass spectrometry, you have variations machines for which do targeted analysis, and then there are variations for which, when it comes to mass spectrometry, there are variations in machinery. For some machines, you have the possibility of doing targeted analysis, and then for others, you do untargeted. I'm coming to that. So in what? So you can do targeted or untargeted. So in targeted analysis, you specify what exactly you're looking for in the sample you're testing.
Agambire ngu oba bali bakebera obundi okebera n'oyenda ebyonyini ekintu ekyonyini kyokwetaaga rundi okebera n'oyenda otunge ebintu ebingi.
Yes.
In untargeted, you target and then also you see what you need in target.
Oba okebera ebintu ebingi obundi olola n'ebindi ebyotakugondeze kandi n'ebindi ebyokugonza kukebera.
So
What happened in this case?
yes, in this case we are doing targeted analysis.
Ate hano akakebera ebintu ebyakwetaagira kimu
And, and we are specifically looking
In this case,
we are doing targeted analysis.
we are specifically looking.
The targeted analysis.
No, we are specifically looking for what?
Maybe let me first elaborate on this one. So gunpowder contains many substances. There are substances that we could use for dating of cartridges, the volatiles.
Now let's
But,
just get that.
yes, but now,
Wait a minute. Can you just repeat what you said?
yes,
Gunpowder.
so gunpowder contains many substances.
Akamananseera obusegwa bw'emundu rundi pawuda y'emundu kandi pawuda y'emundu ebamu n'obuntu bwa sayansi obwingi.
But what we mean by targeted here we select substances that have been shown through scientific studies
ano akabaine ebyakwendamu ebyonyini ebyakwendamu
that have been shown through scientific studies
kandi ebyolekerwe mu masomo ga sayansi
to be useful
kuba bikozesebwa
in identification of gunshot residues.
kuba bikozesebwa mu kutunga obusigwa bw'emundu.
And in this case, what are these substances?
So we target the substances are indicated in paragraph 4 and our analytical notes.
Ebyatungiremu byolekerwe mu bihandiiko bye
And the table reads that organic components, gunshot residue.
kandi ayina ebyasangiremu obusigwa bw'emundu.
So indicated in the table here, it has serial numbers 1 to 10.
Mu kihandiiko kye asobolire kuga namba emu pika namba 10.
And Lord, these items are page. On which page you can put?
This is page 2 of 2. The first paragraph, that's paragraph 4.
Paragraph 4 on page 2.
It's language.
Is what heading?
It has analytical notes.
Ekihandiiko ayinakyo ebyasangirwemu mu biite byake.
And for emphasis, what are these substances?
So in this table, we have annotated the use nature of these substances. The table has 4 columns. One column is the serial number, the second column is the compound name, the third column is the abbreviation, and the last column is the use nature of the substance.
Asoboloire omulingo yahandikire ebyazoire obyakozere okuseruliriza nakozesa ebyuma bya sayansi.
Yes.
So the first substance here is nitroglycerin. That is abbreviated as NG, and this is a propellant. So before
Ate omwana asobola ebyasangiremu.
So the first item is
nitroglycerin, that is abbreviated as NG, and this is a propellant. I had earlier on indicated before that there is another propellant for an energy carrier called nitrocellulose.
Agambira asobolirege kooti yagamba halimu akantu akasangirege akahamaanyi ekintu okubata.
Nitrocellulose.
Ibara bamukagwize kandi yaligalukwamu.
you want to spell it for what?
So nitrocellulose, if you're looking for it in my report, it's not there. It is present here by its breakdown product, which I explained to you. And serial number 3, this item D5.
Okay, now this for you want to spell it cellulose.
Yes, nitrocellulose. Sorry about that. Nitrocellulose is Ni TRO CE double L U L O S E.
Asobolire mulingo ekigambo ekyo nitrocellulose mulingo bakiwandiika mu Lungereza.
Okay?
So the second substance in the table, analytical notes, serial number 2, is 2,3-dinitroptoluene, which is abbreviated as 23-DNT.
nasobola obusegwe obusegwe
And this
bino
is,
byasangibwa.
and this is the flashing inhibitor. So, for simplicity of understanding,
Yes.
where I see in items number 2, 3, and 4 are what we would call analogs of the same substance. If you read the name, it is 2,3 dinitrotoluene, 2,4 dinitrotoluene, so the name appears to be the same. So the variation is in the first numbers 2,3, 2,4, and 2,6.
Bino byona kusobola ebyazoire munagamba ngu nikyo kimu baitu kandi nibwakukana mu kataitu.
Yes.
And those are flash inhibitors. The toluenes, the nitrotoluenes.
What do you mean by flash inhibitors?
So if you have a flash, the substance that suppresses the flashing, so that you don't have a flash coming out after firing the bullet. That's a flash inhibitor.
Agambira kasangamu obuntu okukwerekereza omuntu atalura etaale obuntu okukunyankya utaalo lw'abantu omuntu amazire kuteera essasi.
Next.
Flash inhibitors. The suppress the flash after firing. It's my words.
Next.
So the next group of or class of compounds are what we call plasticizers. So plasticizers include in the table here items 5, 6, and 7. And this group of compounds is what we call the phthalates, which is written here as pH. So this one, the spelling does not, the sound and the spelling are different. It's called phthalates, but it's written pH, THA.
Yes.
So that group of compounds, the phthalates, they belong to the same class as plasticizers. The difference in these comes in the first name, dimethyl phthalates, dimethyl phthalates, dimethyl phthalate.
Wakusobola ebintu ebindi byazoiremu mu bintu ebyakebire.
Yes.
The last group of substances is what we call stabilizers.
Back to plasticizers.
Yes.
Can you break that down for quarters to what they mean?
Yes, plasticizers are substances that help the substance to be elastic.
Agambe ebintu byasoboloireho ebyo nibyo bikonyera obundi okuyamba ekintu okuba pulastika.
Very good. I do not understand that.
Yes. Next.
So the last class of substances are what we call stabilizers. So the stabilizers here are in two subcategories. We have stabilizer here indicated as serial number 8. This is the phenylamine. And the other subgroup of stabilizers are what we call the centralites. That is number 10 and number 9 and number 10. So amongst the centralites, you have methyl centralites and ethyl centralites. That is serial number 9 and 10.
Yes.
And And then the other group of stabilizer is the DPA.
So what are these?
So these are stabilizers.
Yes, so what are stabilizers?
What happens in gunpowder is that you have breakdown of propellants. That is nitroglycerin and nitrocellulose. That is item number 1. So in gunpowder, you have substances called propellants. The example given here is number 1, that is nitroglycerin. But I also informed you also that there was nitrocellulose. So these propellants are susceptible to breakdown. When they break down, they release
When they break down?
So when they break down, they release oxides that act as catalysts, and catalysts are a main substance, is something that speeds up. So they break down and produce catalysts, which we call autocatalysts. Autocatalyst means self-breakdown. So you break down, you release something that helps you to break down further.
Agambire ngu namba 9 mu namba 10 alina obuttu bye yasangiremu okuva mu buse mu gunpowder.
So when these nitrocellulose and nitroglycerin break down and they release these autocatalyst substances that speed up the breakdown of the propellant, that means the gunpowder will age very fast and then it will lose its propelling power. So when you have the propellants break down, they produce oxides that act as speeding up breakdowns, the substances that speed up the breakdown of the same parent compound. That's what we call autocatalysts.
Yes. In your report, you explain DPA.
Yes, madam. So in my report, DPA is included here, the stabilizer.
How did you address DPA in your report? Let us see this.
So under my footer, I put point A. Should I read it to quote or? So I put here that DPA and its derivatives
Yes.
So DPA as a parent compound. Derivatives are,
We are going to go slow with that explanation. Again.
yes. So DPA as a parent compound,
Agambire akantu kano ka P na A kakola ku muzaire.
so DPA as a parent compound can form,
We mentioned how
so nitroglycerin, besides used in explosive industry, has medical applications.
Agambire hari akandi akayasangiremu kakira kukozesebwa mu bikwatuka baitu no byobwomezi nabyo kanje kikakora.
medical applications.
Yes, as an anti-chest pain,
kakola omumalwalo, kakola okutamba ebifuba.
that is indicated here as anti-angina.
N'akasobola mu Lungereza.
Yes.
So why did you indicate it in your reports?
So we indicate it in our reports, just it's just for that these substances have other uses.
Akateekamu kwoleka ngu obuto obundi bwonu buba n'emigaso nyingi.
But this footnote is more important for the substance A, DPA.
Baita kayahandiikire hansi kalina omugaso gw'amaanyi.
Because this is what
Nayongera kusoborra ebyasangiremu kandi bino okusobola kubihindura baita bakulinda babimanya kandi babihandiika.
So, when you indicate in your report antioxidants, rubber, and in medical applications, what substances were you referring to?
So when for the derivatives of DPA that are found in the
Position, how were you positioned? How were you able to conclude that the derivatives that you found in your analysis were as a result of gunshot residue and not from the other uses that you list in A and B of your report on page?
Yes. So to understand this phenomenon, you have to understand three aspects that are related to gunshot residue.
Okwetegereza ebintu bino olina kwetegereza emirundi esatu y'obusoga bw'ebisasi.
They are what we call population studies. There is what we call aging studies. Aging. Age. Very old.
Olina kwetegereza emisomo y'abantu, olina kwetegereza obukulu bw'abantu mu myaka.
Yes.
And migration studies.
Ekyakasatu mulingo abantu bafuuka.
I will start off with aging studies. Gunpowder to aging to see how stable it is. And in this, they are trying to see what is the possibility. So scientists have thought about the worries of the users of science when they are looking at gunshot residue. And they have gone ahead to conduct what we call aging studies. In aging studies, you try to see how fast gunpowder ages. And by the aging, they mean how fast the propellant is depleted through the autocatalysis I talked about. So, they have conducted studies that found that gunpowder is stable at room temperature. You can only age it if the subject is stable, is relatively stable at room temperature. and you can only age it if you subject it to heat.
Subject it to
Heat.
heat. Yes.
So they have conducted studies and found out that if you wanted to age gunpowder, you are supposed to keep it at 65 degrees for 60 days constantly, and what you would achieve is equivalent to keeping the same gunpowder at room temperature for 10 years. So the fastest way to age gunpowder is by application of heat. So if they were able to keep it for at 65 degrees for 65 days, and it starts aging. If you want to age it fast, the catalyst you can improve is heat. You have to apply heat. And when gunpowder ages, it depletes the propellant, and it forms the derivatives of DPA. So that's why, yes, that's why when we find derivatives of DPA included in the footer here, it is indicative of gunshot residue, which happened within a short period. This ideally means
You just repeat it.
when we do analysis and we find derivatives of DPA, those we indicated in the footer here, it means that the gunpowder was aged faster.
Yes.
And as I put that would mean that it required a lot of heat. The reaction required a lot of heat.
omukugu akyasoborra ebyasangiremu kandi asembereyo n'agamba ngu obusego bw'esasi bukakuzibwa bwangu bwakateekwa okwokebwa.
So that is the first aspect.
Yes, madam.
Talk about three.
Yes, I talked about aging, then I talked about migration. So in migration studies, we try to say if DPA is indicated to be present in, say, rubber like mentioned here, is indicated to be present in rubber, just like in my notes here.
It's indicated to be
Present in rubber.
rubber.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you get in touch with DPA or in touch rubber? That is what we do in migration studies.
So, I want you to answer that question for all.
So,
Do you get GPA when you get rubber?
the analogy of that would be that if I touched an HIV positive patient, do I get HIV? So the you don't get HIV, so you don't get DPA by touching substances that contain DPA. So what we do.
So if my just explain the diagnosis.
So if these tables here you see here, they contain flame retardants, which are highly toxic. But by touching this table, I do not go away flame retardants. But highly toxic, they cause toxicity to babies in the womb. They cause toxicity if you've seen people who have cleft lips. These are all flame retardants. So what we do in migration studies to see under what conditions, if this table contains a toxic substance, does it leave the table to the surface in contact with it?
Just repeat that. What you do in migration
So in migration studies,
yes, what you do.
we try to see under what conditions the substance embedded in the material, under what conditions the substance embedded in the material. Just like in this case, you have EPA present in rubber. So we are trying to see if I touch rubber, do I walk away with EPA? The answer is yes or no. But then you could subject this rubber to conditions that would increase the migration of DPA.
Let's first do it. In migration studies, we're trying to see under what conditions the substance embedded in the material
Yes.
would
Migration of the material into the environment.
And by environment you mean?
From material to external to the material. So for example, if I touch it, does it move from the material to me? Yes.
Yes.
So I have personally participated in 2 studies about migration. I participated in a study where,
Before we go to practical example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Let's first
yes, in most cases for migration, you either require heat or a strong substance or a solvent that is like require either heat
it.
and or a solvent that is like the substance you want to migrate.
Or a solvent.
That is like the substance you want to migrate. I'm going to explain this.
Let's begin with heat. I want you to explain what. If I touch rubber, you say EPA doesn't migrate. And you say, but it can migrate if these 2 conditions
Yes.
are present.
Yes.
Heat.
Yes.
Let's first address what degree of heat would be required
So-
for EPA to migrate from rubber to the substance, for example, a human hand.
So the practical example I can give you to understand that, I will come back to it, is the evaporate. Yes, it's the same aspect of heat. It's along the same aspect of heat. If you store the volatile substance under cool temperature vis-a-vis hot temperature, it evaporates faster under heat. So heat increases kinetic energy in migration studies. And kinetic energy is the energy of movement.
I know that, so time to use is answer questions. Rather than if you ask.
My lord, I'm not complaining.
Yes, you are complaining.
No, you can take down the plate.
No. He has to respond to the questions put to him.
My lord, the witness is not under cross-examination. So I'm not putting questions in it. I'm leading.
You are leading him, but when you are leading him, you must answer the question you put to him.
You will do for a cross-examination.
But I see Mr. Kavita as well, because I'm also getting this. I'm having to ask the witness. So let us
Just ensure that we are
finish by you,
consistent.
then you can ask a following question.
Yeah, just ensure that you're consistent.
Noted, my lord.
Yes, just ensure that you're consistent. But my lord,
If a volatile substance is kept under
Heat. If a substance, if it volatile or non-volatile, is subjected to heat, heat increases the rate of migration.
that one is not it. Now, come back to the specific explanation that I require.
So the explanation that relates to this case, if I indicated here that DPA is used in rubber, if I touch rubber, can you test my hands for DPA? It is no.
Why?
Because DPA cannot migrate from the surface by touching with my hand. It requires a form of enhancement to migrate.
Agambira akantu aka DPA bw'okwata raba kantu ka DPA kali mu raba bati bw'okwata haraba akantu ako ka DPA okatunga angalo zaawe agambire nangwa.
Now, how about where the conditions of heat are applied? Under what scenario would heat be capable of migrating DPA from rubber to, say, the body of a human being?
So, if DPA is subjected to heat,
Agambire raba bw'okiteekaho akaalo gundo muuro.
and for this particular case, when it comes to gunshot residues, we are referring to the presence of DPA as a stabilizer, and then a propellant indicated here as a nitro group.
Are we talking about rubber or
DPA.
okay, if DPA is subjected to heat?
And we complete that. So, because here in court, we give the answer and we complete it, then we explain. You don't explain halfway the answer. So
So
my
if
question is, what conditions of heat would be required to be present in order to migrate DPA from rubber to the surface, say, of the human being? And if my question is not scientifically correct, then you are free to guide me. But that is the explanation that I thought should be clear.
your question is scientifically correct,
Can we now
But-
clarify?
but I have a back to it. But it may not help you in this case, or may not help courts in this case. But I can answer it.
Yeah, because you have told for
Yes.
that DPA can migrate from rubber to other surfaces, including a human being, if two conditions are there, either heat or the solvent of the same.
So,
If you want to indicate what amount of heat would be required, and in what circumstances to migrate DPA from that substance to human being.
So the amount of heat that is required should be sufficient heat to be able to break up the bonds between DPA and the substance where it is currently attached.
Agambire ngu akantu ako kadapa okatinde hamuuro okukumara nikusobora kukachwachwana kandi kakaruga hali kali kakagenda hari omuntu akwenda kagenda.
And what would be sufficient heat?
It should be according to my aging studies and migration studies. This should be heat over and above 65 degrees, I would say.
Agambire ngu omuuro gukwetaagwa bwekagwa gukumara baitu nikukira 65 centigrade.
Does the amount of time, is the amount of time relevant if heat of over and above 65 degrees is subjected? Does it matter that it is?
So you can cut on time by increasing heat. Just like in a firing of a gun, the temperature is so high that this reaction happens faster than you would achieve it at 65.
Agambire nti okusobola ntakusobola kutwatwana akakantu kadapa okukakora amuuro g'okusobola kukozesa.
Now, let's break this down for both. Taking the example of a human hand, if it is subjected to heat of 65 degrees centigrade, what would happen?
Heat of 65 degrees centigrade is quite relatively high heat. It would not stay like a normal skin would be.
Agambire ogwo omuuro gw'amaanyi muno. likusiisa likusobola kusiisa omukolo omulongo ogutayibwe.
What do you mean to not stay as a normal state?
So the normal body temperature is 37 degrees. So if you add another extra 20 something degrees, that is much higher than the normal body temperature. So the skin would either burn or get deformed.
Agambire ngu omuuro lika 65 centigrade otiina omubiri gw'omuntu negusobola kutya.
Let's come to the second condition of solvent of the same substance. Can you explain that?
So if you wanted to see that you get EPA from a substance like material like gloves, then you are supposed to expose the glove to a solvent where EPA feels more.
Agambire bw'okuba n'oyenda kuyita kutunga akakantu akadapa n'osobola kukozesa omulingo gundi n'okozesa obwizi obuteekaniziibwe.
So you would put the subject the glove a solvent which is more liked to DPA.
Obwizi obuteekaniziibwe obwo bukozere ne busana akakantu aka DPA.
That solvent should be more like DPA than the material where currently the DPA is. That's how you move it from the other material.
Agambire obwizi obuteekaniziibwe bwina kuba ne bwisana DPA, nuko DPA ebwehale eri ekentalo kwenda.
Substantiate that in respect to the example that is.
So, just like I mentioned before, by cutting gloves, it's unlikely that you move violate DPA. But if you wanted to violate DPA, which is embedded in the material of the glove,
Yes.
so if you subject it to heat or a solvent,
Now we on solvent.
yes. So you subject the glove to a solvent, which is preferable to DPA compared to where DPA, the material it is in, DPA will move into the solvent. It will migrate into the solvent.
Agambire obwizi obwo bw'okuteeka akintu nka gloves batwala mu ngalo, akakantu aka DPA kajja kuruga mu glove egyo kagaruke omu bwizi
And
bw'oteekaniziibwe.
what is the third migration? Or the third study? Aging, migration, aging, and migration.
Concentration studies. So scientists were equal as worried as you are that you would have contamination arising from the presence of EPA in the environment. So they conducted studies to see if you sampled among these random people, how likely is it that you sampled the hands of anyone here and you find EPA? And there are several studies which have shown that it is high level. Actually, there are no studies which have shown that if you sample it, for the studies I have seen, they show they do not detect EPA.
No studies show what?
For the studies I have seen, there are no studies that have shown that you can detect DPA if you did a random sample in the population.
Agambire omu bisomo ye eyakozere embeera y'abantu takatungireko omulimu gwonna gukusobola kuwoleka kutungisa akakantu kadapa n'osobola kukatunga omu bantu.
Okay, now back to the findings in your. My Lord, we could continue from there. Now I was now making reference to the report so that you can correct is findings down, item by item, and what is finding mean in relation to the presence of gun. I don't want to begin from there. We must break it down.
Vale, Jari.